Episode 2. They came to tell me. Before I go any further, I need to go back because the things I understand now didn't start in adulthood. They didn't start with Reiki. They didn't start with tarot. They started when I was a child, long before I had a language, context, or protection. On Thursday night, when I was 6 years old, I remember I woke up crying. I didn't wake up terrified. I woke up sad but calm. The kind of calm that doesn't make sense for a child. My grandparents had come to see me. They told me it was their time to go. They told me they weren't going to be here anymore. They said they would be okay. They said they would always be there, but that I wouldn't see them anymore. I remember that part clearly. Not fear, not confusion, just knowing. I was crying in the middle of the night when my dad came into my room. I had bunk beds. I remember him scrunching down underneath the bunk bed to sit beside me, asking me what was wrong. I told him exactly what had happened. I told him my grandparents had just come to see me. Told him what they said, that they weren't going to be here anymore. He told me they were fine. He said it's just a dream and to go back to sleep. So I did. The next day was Friday. My mom picked us up from school like she always did because Fridays were our shopping days. So we always went to Salem to go shopping. It was a normal routine. The same thing we did every week. We were in the car when I remember being in Salem and asking my mom if she had heard anything about my grandparents not living anymore, if she had heard anything about my grandparents dying. She was immediately angry. She believed that even though she had called the school and specifically told them not to tell me anything, someone must have told me anyway. I told her no one had told me. I explained what had happened the night before. I told her they came to see me. She said no, that did not happen. Yes, it did. She insisted someone had to have told me. There was no way I could know unless they did. And I don't know if she ever talked to my dad about that night. I don't know if there was a conversation or if he had been drinking and didn't remember at all what had happened. But what I do know is this. No one ever accepted my explanation. I remember being at the funeral home when everyone was crying, but I wasn't. My mom had noticed this as well and started asking me questions. She wanted to know if I understood what was happening, if I knew, that my grandparents had died and that I would not see them again. I told her it was because I knew they were going to be okay. I told her they would never leave me. She asked me how I knew that. I said, because they told me. I believe this was around the same time she had gotten confirmed into the Lutheran Church. I know she believed this was something wrong, something that shouldn't be acknowledged. So she shut it down. She said someone had told me. Someone had to have told me. And after that, she never spoke to me about it again. But here's the truth. She was right. Someone did tell me, just not who she thought. And that wasn't the only time. There were other moments, smaller ones, not big enough to really prove anything. But when I would wake her up and try to get her to get up because my aunt had had a baby, I remember her when the phone rang and I got her awake and said, "Get up so you can answer the phone." My aunt had a baby boy and she swore somebody else had called first. That there was no way I knew that. I'm not sure how the phone could have rang without her hearing it as well, but that was just my reality. So eventually I just stopped saying them, not because they stopped happening, but because I learned that knowing something before everyone else doesn't make people curious. It makes them uncomfortable. And when you're a child, you learn very quickly what makes adults uncomfortable, something you should not be doing. So I just learned to keep it to myself. Didn't stop knowing. I just stopped saying it out loud. And that silence stayed with me for a long